Meet DeserTech, one of the most promising sectors in the world. Technologies that solve desert challenges. As our planet becomes increasingly hotter, drier, and less fertile, innovators operating in the fields of infrastructure, agriculture, water, and energy can help manage our water resources, adapt to extreme climates, rejuvenate degraded soils, produce renewable energy, and provide services to remote communities. The DeserTech community brings together entrepreneurs, corporates, investors, researchers, and governments from around the world to adapt and scale technologies that build desert resilience while increasing regional collaboration. Operating from Israel's Negev Desert, a living lab of science and technology, we invite you to exchange and gain professional knowledge, connect with partners, and mobilize resources for growth. Join us. Together, we can combat desertification.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here. You can clap. It's okay. My name is Sinai Goel Barak, and I'm the head of the international development of the DeserTech community in Israel. I want to welcome all of you who joined us today virtually. Hi. And of course, physically here from the pavilion, the Israeli pavilion at Expo Dubai. We're so excited. We worked so hard on this event, and it's really thrilling. We want to thank all our partners, and mostly the Ministry of Environmental Protection for hosting us here today at the pavilion. And thank you for the partnership. The DeserTech community is a nonprofit joint initiative of the Mirage Foundation Israel, the Israel Innovation Institute, the Ministry of Environmental Protection, of course, and the Ben-Gurion University. The DeserTech community is devoted to promoting the development, commercialization, and adaptation of technologies that can address the challenges of deserts and desertification. As an innovation community, we bring together all the different stakeholders, and we really want to collaborate and around this developed sector. And while turning Beersheba and the Negev region into a global hub for these technologies. In this upcoming session, we will share with you how technology can be harnessed for regional collaboration. We're going to launch the DeserTech Marketplace, designed to match between the needs and the solutions of the desert. And we're going to share with you everything that you need to know about the Mirage International DeserTech Competition and what your organization can gain from that. We have an amazing group of speakers with us today from all over the world. Thank you for joining. And I want to wish us all a valuable event and an interesting one, and thank you. I now want to invite Her Excellency, Israel's Minister of Environmental Protection, Ms. Tamar Zandberg, to open the event.
Thank you. David Mirage is not here, chairman of the Mirage Foundation in Israel. Nicole Hodstro, executive director of the Mirage Foundation Israel. Jonathan Menuchin, CEO of Israel Innovation Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to be with you here this evening at the event that marks the international launch of our exciting DeserTech initiative. As the recent sixth assessment report of the IPCC points out, we witnessed unprecedented human-induced changes in our world's climate system. To prevent the most severe implications of climate change, we humans need to change the way we live and drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2030, with a complete stop by 2050. However, many changes are irreversible for centuries to millennia. We therefore need to invest heavily in preparing and adapting to climate-induced extreme events, including strengthening and adapting infrastructure, changing food production patterns, conserving and rewilding nature, and changing the way we produce energy. The desert has challenged and inspired humankind, and especially the people of the Middle East that we share here in Israel with the Emirates. Our region is especially vulnerable to climate change impacts, but we are not the only one facing increased risk of desertification. The challenge of the desert have become increasingly urgent. Today, 2 billion people live in arid and semi-arid zones, and this number is expected to rise due to population growth and climate change. Technology, innovation, and collaboration are the key to solving the challenges of desertification, of soil degradation, of water scarcity, and food insecurity. Finding such solutions require that we come together across sectors and across borders, across academia, policy, and industry, and across governments, civil society, and international institutes. Israel, home to hundreds of cutting-edge startups and world-leading research centers focused on arid environments, is committed to promoting such cross-sector and cross-border cooperation. As a result, we established DeserTech in our Negev Desert, a unique innovation ecosystem aimed to harnessing the potential of the desert while conserving its unique biodiversity and natural habitats. I am very excited to launch today the Mirage International DeserTech Competition as part of the DeserTech Innovation Hub, which will encourage and support the technological breakthroughs needed to enhance the health, well-being, and sustainable economic developments of the billions of people living in arid climates. I am particularly excited to launch this competition here in Dubai in Expo 2020, as the Abraham Accord envisioned, by combining our expertise, strength, and capabilities, Israel-UAE cooperation can lead to the next disruptive discoveries, which will benefit people around the world and demonstrate to all the dividends of peace. Thank you to all our partners in organizing this competition, including the Mirage Foundation, thank you our partners, Israel Innovation Institute, Ben-Gurion University, and all the countries and institutes taking part. I look forward to seeing the exciting fruits of this initiative and the impact they will have on lives across the region and across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your very strong message and your partnership. I now invite Mr. David Mirage, Chairman of the Mirage Foundation Israel, a philanthropic foundation that has been active in regional development for the past 15 years.
Greetings, I am David Mirage, Chairman and CEO of Mirage Foundation in Israel. As you know, Israel is a very small country with a small population. It does not have much of resources, but the greatest resource that Israel has is the human brain power. The technology that Israel has come up with in the past 10, 15 years has been amazing, and the world is benefiting from that. The climate around the world has changed drastically. It is affecting every nation. We see it in fires and floods. We see it in dry and wet areas. The only way we can deal with this crisis is through human power and technology, and Israel has that. I want to thank the government of Israel for its support, especially the Minister of Environment Protection, who has been our partner. Also, I would like to express my thanks and appreciation to British and Dutch government for their involvement with the projects. Thanks to the judges. Our hope is that the technology that we are going to introduce is going to bring peace and prosperity to the world. The only way to deal with difficulties of the world is for people to come together and share ideas and become partners in bringing peace to all of us. Thank you. I wish you all a safe trip.
Thank you. I'm happy to now invite Dr. Jonathan Menouchim, the CEO of Israel Innovation Institute, an NGO that is building and managing innovation ecosystems in Israel.
Thank you, Sinai. I'm honored and excited to be here. We at the Israel Innovation Institute, we promote novel technologies that tackle global challenges. Currently, we are operating in digital health, smart mobility, precision agriculture, climate-related technologies, and DeserTech. We do that in order to create a better world for people and for the planet. On a daily basis, we create a network of passionate people from Israel and around the globe, from different disciplines, from different technologies specialists. Then we support their effort in order that they will succeed. This is the only way that we can think it's possible to fasten that process of prosperity. The deserts bring so many challenges for all of us, but many opportunities for innovators. This international competition is an excellent opportunity for novel, innovative technologies to be flourish, to be shine, to be acknowledged, and be supported. This is one of the many tools that we're operating in our innovation community management practice. Our journey to promote desert-related technologies is hard and long one. I want to thank our partners that make this journey easier. First, I would like to thank Minister Tamar Zandberg and the Ministry of Environmental Protection, Mr. David Mirage and the Mirage Foundation Israel, headed by Nicole Hodstraw, my friend. It is a really true privilege to work with you. Thank you. I wish to thank our competition partner, the British Embassy in Israel, the Wolf Alliance, the Netherlands Embassy in Israel, the ICA and the Mata Israel. Thank you for your vision and for believing in us. I promise we'll do everything that we can do to fulfill it. I hope in the following years, I hope to see many companies from your countries and many other will join in this competition. Finally, I would like to thank the desert team, Sinai and Ziv here in Dubai, Sivan and Hillel in Israel. You did it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonathan, for always pushing the boundaries of what innovation communities can do. So now I want to share with you a little bit of what is DeserTech, and let's focus a little bit about the sector. When we talk about DeserTech sector, what do we actually mean? What is it? So it's something that we kind of all have an idea of what it is. It's agriculture, it's water, renewable energies, but I want to maybe focus on how we let's say define it. And what challenges are we trying to tackle when it comes to DeserTech? So we worked also with researchers from Ben-Gurion University, and we identified 4 major global desert challenges that currently we're focusing on tackling with the startups that we're trying to promote. So extreme climate, of course. The deserts are of course characterized by very extreme climate, and we all feel it here in Dubai very, very well, kind of overwhelmed by the heat. But also from the IPCC reports on climate and land management, extreme weather temperatures have the highest potential to increase poverty in the coming years. Water scarcity and availability. It's also the access to clean water and available water for everyone. Land degradation. So, it's caused by, of course, intensive agriculture and other human activities, but it's causing the soil salinity, erosion, flash floods. All of these are challenges that we're trying to solve with the DeserTech technologies. And remote and marginal living. We're talking here about accessibility and also about human rights, probably. The access to clean clean basic services, clean water, sanitation, and also access to health and education. And when we're looking at, let's say, the innovation kind of place, I call it always the innovation points. Where are we focusing on? So we're focusing on water technologies, infrastructure technologies, also digital infrastructure, agriculture, and renewable energy. And when kind of putting this on a landscape, if we're looking, you can see on the bottom half of this presentation, if we're looking at the different verticals of agriculture, energy, water, and infrastructure, what are the areas of solution that can tackle these global desert challenges? And we kind of started mapping them according to technologies that we found available also in Israel and especially in the Negev region. So you can maybe dive into that later, but we also understood that access is needed for these technologies. We need to put them in one place, to showcase them in one place, so organizations and local governments that are interested in these technologies can go into one-stop shop and find everything that they need. And so we created the DeserTech Marketplace. The DeserTech Marketplace is an online platform that connects, matches between the solutions and the challenges. And it's also a place for kind of, I can say, educational or a shared language for everyone to know when we're talking about desert and desertification challenges, what are they? And how do they affect the population living in arid environments, and also the population that is not living in traditionally arid environments, but is also starting to be affected by it. So we prepared something nice for you about the DeserTech Marketplace. So let's watch a short video and then we continue.
In order to combat desertification and to bring prosperity to our deserts and drylands, we need a variety of technologies that can tackle the different aspects of desert challenges. That is why we created the DeserTech Marketplace, an online platform where you can learn about global desert challenges, explore technological solutions in the field, connect with relevant partners, and participate in open innovation processes tailored to your specific needs. The marketplace showcases cutting-edge Israeli technologies from the sectors of water, energy, agriculture, and infrastructure that are specifically addressing the challenges of water scarcity, extreme climate, land degradation, and remote and marginal living. Soon, the marketplace will include technologies from all over the world. Under each challenge, you can find solutions according to sectors and filter them by the types of solutions you are looking for. Here's a taste of what you can find here.
Sphere Technologies has developed a unique evaporative cooling system which uses extremely small amounts of water in an innovative, patented approach. Our system is highly adapted to hot and dry climates. We will welcome you as our partners in this platform to demonstrate and implement our solution into the market.
We are talking about the red palm weevil, one of the most destructive species in palm plantation, and the economical damage is rising up.
Our technique is based on spectral signals from radiometers mounted on drones and satellites for early detection of the disease.
شركة بالم روبوتكس تبحث عن شريك استراتيجي في كل دولة من دول الخليج العربي وشمال أفريقيا.
Nostromo aims to cool global warming by turning commercial building cooling system into clean, safe and cost-effective energy storage assets. This dramatically reduces the burden on the grid while cutting the carbon footprint and providing cost savings.
The unique patented solution used spatial self-cleaning filter for penetration of runoff water.
Solid is a water disinfection technology that is based on the solar sun. We can provide safe water in rural areas where people have intermittent water supply. We look for collaborators that we can pilot our technology and prove what we can do for providing safe water.
The DeserTech Marketplace is designed for you, cities, countries, companies, and investors looking for the next generation of solutions to adapt to climate change and desertification. And for you, startups and tech companies looking to showcase your solutions and connect with relevant partners. Join the DeserTech Marketplace and start connecting.
So we invite all of you, really, everyone. Now Hillel, our community manager, is sending the marketplace link on the chat and also virtually on the roll-ups. You can scan the QR code, log into the marketplace, explore the technologies that are there already. Join it if you have a technology, if you have a solution that you think can be relevant for desert-related challenges. And if you're an organization and you have a specific challenge or need, please share it with us. At the moment, these challenges are very high, very meta, big, large challenges, and we need the specific needs, the specific challenges, and how they look like in each country, in each organization, because they look a little bit different. So now, Nicole, the challenges of the desert are also an opportunity. They are an opportunity for cross-sector collaborations and partnerships. I'm delighted to invite Ms. Nicole Hodstro, the Executive Director of the Mirage Foundation Israel and expert in economic development, to moderate the panel of harnessing technology for regional collaboration and prosperity.
See us? Yes. Hello, everyone. We are so excited to have you. I am very honored to invite the panelists that we have today. Ms. Galit Cohen, Director General of Israel's Ministry of Environmental Protection. Mr. Ivano Yaneli, Board Member of the ESG Foundation. Ms. Bina Khan, Founder of Summit Venture Partners and Investor. And Mr. Salvatore Lavallo, Head of FDI of the Abu Dhabi Investment Office. So we're going to be discussing how can DeserTech become an engine for regional collaboration. Galit, let's start with you. After hearing Sinai's wonderful presentation, where do you see the main opportunities for regional collaboration, and how can we really accelerate the development of technological solutions that bring resilience to desert problems?
First to say thank you very much, and I'm so excited to be here, especially here, I think, in Dubai. We spoke a lot, so I want to think what, especially here, I just want to say that this morning we met the head of the environmental agency here in Abu Dhabi. She met us here in Dubai. And I think that what she said, I want to emphasize here, is we really deal in Israel and here in Dubai or the Emirates and all this region really by common challenges. And we know that in Israel we have our experience and expertise, but here there is also an experience and expertise. And I think that collaboration together, bringing the needs to understand what is the needs, technology needs, challenges, and to have the solution, technology solutions that we have already here, we have already in Israel, but we can share it together. I think this is something, and I don't know what to say yes, we can collaborate. Yes, this is something that everybody here together will say, hey, we have an idea. Let's work together. Why don't we share our knowledge? Why don't we share our researchers, our students from both sides? Hackathons, I think that maybe you will arrange also something like this, not just the competition, hackathon between students in high school and in universities. And I think this is a hope, and this is the vision for this DeserTech.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful vision. It just leaves us with so much energy to continue working together. And Ivano, I want to take it to you as an expert in sustainability, and you can give us maybe the global perspective. What do you think are the implications for this sector specifically and in general of the United Nations new assessment report on climate change, and how will it disrupt economic platforms?
Thank you very much. And just before I start, I wanted also to share, it is the energy that the group from Dana got me interested in this collaboration. And I wanted just to bring that up, because I have to say it was a long time since I actually saw so much impetus in this field. And this is exactly what we need right now. I think we've all had enough of disruptions. So we know that the last assessment report is awful. It's something that we don't even want to look at for how difficult it is for us to take action upon. So we might as well do what we've been doing for the past few months, understand that everything needs to change. I mean, just if we think about the benchmarks that we shared a short while ago, we need to halve our resource consumption patterns by 2030. We need to reduce them to 0 by 2050. Just start with your power. Half of it, half of the energy bill, half of the fuel in your cars. So just imagine the complexity that we have in front of us in dealing with the preciousness of these resources. And this is exactly where collaborations such as this thrive, because it's through adaptation, through the ability of looking at the same instance from a different perspective, that we can actually identify a different modus operandi. We're not going to fix the problem with the problem that created it. I'm actually looking at the students, their energy, their willingness to do something, to bring in that personal touch that challenges conventional wisdom, to use somebody else's words. And in saying this, these are the kind of platforms where we have the ability just to mingle and create this innovation.
Thank you so much, Ivano, and you're so right. And Ivano mentioned the Dana Accelerator, which is an initiative, wonderful regional initiative, talking about regional collaboration that's trying to accelerate women-led desert tech companies. So thank you so much for them as well. Salvatore, actually. So we talked about the global perspective. I would like to hear from your work as a person in charge of attracting businesses to Abu Dhabi. What are the trends and the opportunities that you're seeing around agri-tech, water technologies? Where do you think that are the main opportunities, knowing that we have many, many startups from around the world listening to us right now over Zoom?
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here and to be working with all of you guys on these exciting new technologies. What we've been looking at from the Abu Dhabi government is a couple different goals within food security, a couple different goals within DeserTech. We're looking at how do we make sure that our imports are sustainable? How do we make sure that we are wasting less food, wasting less energy, wasting less water? We're also looking at how do we use these technologies to increase local production. And when we're looking at that, we've looked at the existing farmers, so the 35,000 farms that are in the UAE right now. What kind of technologies can we provide to them in order to upskill, produce more, be more efficient, and also then looking at new forms of production. So on the first side about the efficiency of the local farmers, we've been looking at irrigation technologies, we've been looking at more sustainable fertilizers, we've been looking at how can we do more, as you were saying, cooperation, working together, making sure that there are collaborations across different farms. In that space, as the Abu Dhabi government and the Abu Dhabi Investment Office, we've supported a company called RNZ, which is doing taking our waste sulfites from our energy industry and creating organic and inorganic fertilizers. We're also working with a company called Responsive Drip Irrigation, which has produced the world's first technology that allows plants to self-regulate their water intake by having a chemical response to the root exudates rather than having a timed drip or or something based on organoleptic research. On the local production side, or on the new forms of local production, we've looked at closed environment agriculture, so indoor farms, high-tech greenhouses. We have looked at aquaculture. We've been looking at cellular-based agriculture, algae, proteins, and really in that space we have promoted 6 companies, 3 in the closed environment agriculture company, Air Farms out of the United States, Matter Farm out of the UAE, and Pure Harvest out of the UAE, which Bina was discusses an early investor in. In aquaculture, we've supported Fresh to Home from India and Pure Salmon. And then we have also recently, thinking even further into the future, we've supported a company called Nanorax, which is producing a space agriculture research center in Al Ain in Abu Dhabi Emirate. And when we talk about extreme environments, there's nothing more extreme than Mars, and how do we produce food for people on their way there. Within all of that, what we're always looking at is how can we act as a market catalyzer rather than a market maker. We don't want to pick company or pick winners before they get to compete. So what we're saying as the Abu Dhabi government is, if you're willing to make that investment into the Emirate, then we will make your money go further. We have a rebate incentive program, which is on a pay and reclaim basis. We don't dilute the founders in any way. We don't take equity. We don't take loan repayment. We don't take IP ownership or commercial interest. It's purely government support, but it's on that pay and reclaim basis to say, prove the spend, and then we will allow it to go further. So we're very excited to continue to look at new technologies. And then also, I think on the non-financial side, to make sure that we are encouraging policy advocacy, so seeing what we can change. We're very lucky, a very responsive and quick government in order to change these things. And then also on the collaboration, how can we make sure that all these companies are working together? The world's largest indoor vertical farm can't produce enough food for one Carrefour, one grocery store, right? So how do we make sure that we go from 35,000 farms to tens of thousands of indoor farms?
Talking about optimized resources, and Bina, as an investor, you probably can agree that for this sector that is a growing emerging sector to scale, we need to mobilize capital. What advice can you give early stage DeserTech companies in terms of effective fundraising, and what differences do you see for more traditional tech companies in their fundraising process?
Thank you everyone for having me here. So for agri-tech industry specific, the space specific, I think the first thing that you need, and what drives a startup to success versus failure, is having a proof of concept on the ground, with a pilot that demonstrates that a concept, the design, the build, budget, and the execution are all feasible. That's one. Two, a thoughtful feasibility study that has insight from industry partners, government officials, that show that the execution, the timeline, legal risks, and construction have all been thought about. That's two. And three, I would say another success factor is joint pilots. It's been proven that partnering up and doing a joint pilot just accelerates the success, and there's improved financial performance. So if you can partner up rather than taking 10 years, you slash the time in half, go 5 years by partnering up to, you bring key partners in to do design, the architect, build, the implementation, and you cut your time in half versus, that's, going at a slower rate of, 10 years maybe. And then also getting involved with the government, as Salvatore said, that there are government incentives everywhere, and you should really, be in line with them. And you can be, by aligning with the government, you get to the front of the line with ministers, you get to influence regional policies, which is very important. And that distinguishes you from just a regular startup versus someone, a company that's trying to bring regional change.
I want to go back to Galit. I think we got a very interesting perspective from the different angles of this growing industry. And I wanted to hear your thoughts. You talked about regional collaboration, and I wanted you to tell us a little bit about Israel. As the Director General of Israel's Ministry of Environmental Protection, what do you think the Negev region specifically, and Israel in general, has to offer for companies and investors and cities around the world that want to tap into this innovation ecosystem?
Beside that, we have universities and researchers, institutions, very innovative one. We have also, I think, the ecosystem in the region, in the Negev region, that could be a living laboratory for all those demonstration sites and very innovative technology. And I would like to add something to refer to what you said about what do you need in investing in innovative technology. So we also have in Israel now a special program that we take the risk as a regulator together with the investors and the companies, the industry, regulatory risk, which means we will support innovative technologies who would like to have the first beta site, the first commercialization site, the first time for this innovative technology in Israel. If they would like to have this beta site in Israel, in Israeli technology, we will support both in regulatory risk. Let's say we will follow and give all the support for taking the risk that even after 2 years of this adaptation of this demonstration site, they won't get the permits, the Israeli permits. So they have something like about 2 years to consider and to do the demonstration site, and also to support by the Innovation Authority, the Israel Innovation Authority, together with us, a budget, so they can come to the industry in the Negev and in the region, and if they would like to have the first time commercialization, they can have support by the government from regulatory side and also for the budget. So this is all you need to come to the Negev, to come to the desert, to this region with very, I think, I don't want to say that, but very sophisticated, let's say, students and in the universities. And also brilliant, I think, innovative ideas, technologies, and to come to adapt it here in the Negev.
Thank you so much. It sounds that we could really create a very powerful value chain, starting of collaboration with Israel and the Emirates, where you could do beta sites and pilots and joint pilots in Israel, and then scale in Abu Dhabi and get joint investors. We have here a few funds that are joint, and then we have we could have a very rich ecosystem that could benefit also economically, and definitely the planet will be happy about that as well. Salvatore, actually, it's a very similar question to Galit. What existing mechanisms, and you touched a little bit on that, does Abu Dhabi offer, let's say, Israeli companies that would like to tap into the ecosystem? And how do you see these mechanisms promoting also regional collaboration?
Thanks so much. What's interesting about the answer to that is that it's very different now than what it would have been only a few years ago. And I think that's, it's exciting today to be here at Expo and, really looking at innovation and looking towards the future. And that's what we've really been trying to do, is not only support innovative companies, but be an innovative government as well. Our two main goals have been on, number one, having a one Abu Dhabi approach. So making sure that all of the different entities that are involved in the strategy and execution and the funding and infrastructure all are aligned on what are the goals, how do we make sure that we are working together to reach that. So we're always in conversation with the Abu Dhabi Agriculture Food Safety Authority, with the Environmental Agency and Dr. Sheikha, with the Ministry of Climate and Environment, and with Salal, the new national wholesaler. All of these players, we're making sure that we are fully aligned. And the second goal is making sure that we are providing a full menu of of options, a full menu of incentives. So we have some players like our free zones or different government landlords that are able to provide the space to do the R&D or the land to do the R&D. We also then have the funding partners who are able to give the equity injections. Then we have like the Abu Dhabi Investment Office, and we provide our rebate incentives. So with any company that comes to us at any stage, we always make sure that it's never a no from the government. We're making sure that there's somewhere, some entity that's able to take that forward, and that we're fully aligned together on what that can be.
So the last two questions, if we can also keep it briefly. Bina, so you talked about fundraising, effective fundraising, and I would like to ask you as an entrepreneur yourself and also as an investor, how do you see companies scaling in the region? Not just emerging, but actually scaling worldwide. And what advice do you have for companies that want to achieve that?
So this is not limited to agri-tech or the agri-space, just general advice. One, be humble. It is so important. You could be the media king of your region or country, but when you're sitting in front of an investment fund or an investor in a different country, they may not know you. We're just another startup pitching to them. So be confident, but they're not aware of your achievements and the media coverage that you have. So be humble, but remain confident. Two, have strong conviction and belief and a proven track record. If you're a serial entrepreneur, showcase what the successes you've had and use that to your advantage. Three, definitely for the giving back element, put aside funds or a portion of the investment that you're going to receive to give back and contribute to the regional ecosystem. So, simply put, if you cut a tree, plant another tree. So, whether it's investing in talent, it's start becoming an R&D center or hiring, etc. That's a way to give back. And when you do that, you're actually setting the region up to be more attractive to future investment, to future companies and future investors to attract more investment into this region.
Thank you, Bina. So Ivano, I want to end with you, again with your global perspective. The carbon border adjustment mechanism that is planned for the EU and the United States will have very powerful implications in the region, in this sector. What do you foresee that will be the economic impact in the region, and how can companies in this industry best prepare for it?
Now, that's a proverbial pot of gold, I would say, for startups. Essentially, what we're looking at is specifically for the EU, because I believe in the US, they've been slowed down a bit in the last week or so. But specifically for the EU, there is a strong compliance regime coming online for large entities importing or doing business with the EU. And we're talking about hundreds of millions of euros that have to be paid in what is called CBAM certificates. Essentially, a carbon border adjustment mechanism certificate is an extrapolation of the European trading scheme, the ETS, and will allow companies that are active in certain areas like aluminum, steel, cement, to actually comply with the ETS-like regulations. In doing so, what we have is a very large number of corporations, entities, businesses that are currently working with the EU, which needs to scale up their environmental credentials. Now, this means that we need to localize all this knowledge, which is widely available in Europe, into all the rest of the world. And there is essentially no stopping there, because this CBAM is actually having a nudge effect on other countries. So we see already Russia talking about an ETS. We see China launching its ETS. We see a number of other countries contemplating, how do I retain the CBAM economic value within my borders rather than just writing a check to the EU. And again, I'm Italian, so I don't mind them writing the check. but still, I find a lot more enjoyment in seeing this transfer of knowledge, this innovation being made possible by just a stroke of pen. It's quite cool.
If I may, I just wanted to say something, to add something about the ETS, the carbon. In Israel, we're going to establish the carbon tax, a new one, just because we don't want to pay this to the Europe. So we either, we want the companies in Israel to pay inside the tax and not outside the tax to Europe. So also in Israel, inside Israel, we need to be more efficient and support all this initiative.
So the time is now. I think the time is now for companies to thrive. And this is just the beginning. Thank you all for this amazing panel. And we hope that we'll continue the conversation.
Thank you, Nicole, and to all the speakers. It was very, very insightful. Thank you very much. So I think that we all agree that desert challenges are everybody's problem. Do you agree with me about that? It's not just the problem of people living in arid lands, it's the problem of everyone. And if it's everyone's problem, then we must tackle it together. And so the Mirage International DeserTech Competition, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a task force, a global task force for tackling desert challenges together. And so I'm very happy that this year the competition is international, and along with the Israeli startups, calling Israeli startups to join the competition, we are also calling companies from the UK and the Netherlands to adapt their technologies, to even consider adapting their technologies to address global desert challenges, and to come to Israel for a DeserTech Adaptation seminar. I want to say thank you to our partners from the whole Clean Growth Alliance, the British Embassy, the British Council, and of course from the Netherlands Embassy in Israel, and Mata and ICA Israel. So this year, as I said, we are calling Israeli startups as well as UK and Dutch companies. And Israeli startups, we're looking for startups that have a solution to solve global desert challenges. These are the challenges that I shared with you earlier. The prize for winning Israeli companies will receive a 25,000 NIS prize, and the winning Negev-based company will get a $75,000 equity investment from ICA Israel and Mata Foundation. For some reason, it doesn't move. Thank you. The international tracks, we're calling UK companies and Netherlands companies that are interested in understanding DeserTech adaptation, understanding the desert challenges, interacting with the DeserTech ecosystem, to come to Israel. 10 Dutch companies and 10 UK companies will come for a DeserTech adaptation seminar, a fully funded seminar in Beersheba, the Negev, Israel. Let's see the seminar, what you can expect out of the DeserTech Adaptation Seminar.
If you're interested in engaging with a fast-growing industry of desert technologies, if you wish to explore the startup nation capabilities and meet the Israeli desert tech ecosystem, if you think that your product can tackle desert challenges and wish to learn more about climate adaptation to arid environments, then you must apply to the Mirage DeserTech competition and get a chance to participate with 20 leading companies from the UK and the Netherlands in a DeserTech Adaptation Seminar. The fully funded seminar will take place in Beersheba's Innovation District, the heart of Israel's Negev tech ecosystem, and part of the world's desert belt. For over 60 years, Israel's Negev desert has been at the center of cutting-edge research and technology in water, agriculture, energy, and infrastructure to enable sustainable and prosperous life in the desert. Ben-Gurion University and its institutes for desert research, numerous agriculture and scientific R&D centers, the Arava Institute, innovation hubs, startups, accelerators, leading corporates, and the Bedouin Sustainable Innovation Farm Wadi Atir are all examples of the vibrant desert tech ecosystem. We invite you here to the Negev to adapt your technology to best meet global desert needs. Apply now to the Mirage DeserTech competition. See you next year in Beersheba, the gate to this fast-growing industry.
Thank you. So I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank a group of professional judges. We'll see them right away. They're here. Okay. I want to thank the judges, also judges who joined us virtually today. Thank you so much for joining the competition. We have a group, an amazing group of experts from the Israeli ecosystem, from the international ecosystem. So thank you very, very much. And this group of judges will be selecting the 4 winners, Israeli companies, and also the 10 British and 10 Dutch companies to come to the DeserTech Adaptation Seminar. Registration is actually open today. And it's available until November 15th. You can register until November 15th. We have a Q&A session on October 25th that you can already log into from the competition website, which is, I think, already sent to you over by the chat. And you can also scan it over here if you are physically here. And on December 13th, we're going to have the final competition event, announcing the winning companies from the UK and the Netherlands, and selecting the Israeli winners. So applications are open. All of you startups, please apply now. And now I want to ask, I was asked oftentimes when we started working on this competition, and I told some friends and I told some colleagues that we have the UK and the Netherlands joining us for the DeserTech competition, and they were asking me, why Netherlands? Why UK? I mean, what do they have to do with deserts? And we all have this conception of, and which is probably right, of the Netherlands is filled with water, and the UK have so many rainy days a year. Why are they so interested specifically in climate adaptation for arid environments? And to answer that question, I don't know exactly the answer of this question, so I brought some friends to help me with that. And so I want to invite our first speaker, who has been our partner right from the start. And I'm really delighted to invite Jasper van Maastricht, First Secretary, Water and Climate in the Netherlands Embassy in Israel, to share with us. Thank you.
So thank you, Sinai. Hello, everyone. I'm Jasper. And for the Netherlands Embassy in Israel, climate is a key priority in our work. With Israeli partners across the board, we want to lower our climate footprint and adapt to climate change. We work on the energy transition and also in areas like water, agri-food, circular economy, and innovation. And we do this by informing Dutch partners about policy developments and also concrete business opportunities in Israel. We also organize joint events with Israel to deepen knowledge about relevant topics. And in short, we want more deals in trade and innovation, and we want them to be green. And now you might say, as you said before, Sinai, why is the Netherlands interested in climate adaptation in arid environments? About 30% of our country is under sea level, and 55% is prone to flooding. So it seems that indeed we actually have too much water. But recently, seasonal droughts have become much more extreme, and this leads to water shortages and also to drier soil. And this in turn risks land subsidence, the sinking of the land. And this is an issue that could damage infrastructure in the Netherlands alone, worth 22 billion euros by 2050, as projected. So technologies that address arid environments are gaining relevance in our country. But there is another reason for interest, and that is the opportunities that lie outside of the Netherlands. And desertification in the Middle East and globally is of growing concern. And the innovative Dutch ecosystem can provide solutions for this challenge. I think of water harvesting or water recycling for households, or building integrated solar panels that save space, or Earth observation and satellites to improve agricultural output. Now, digital platforms such as these can help link Dutch solution to local application. Still, physical meetings make cooperation materialize much more easily. And that's why I am excited about bringing 10 Dutch winning companies or knowledge institutions to Israel for a technology adaptation seminar, hopefully early 2022. I invite our Dutch partners to sign up for this competition, which is a unique opportunity to learn about desert challenges. You can present your climate adaptation solutions and you can explore new markets. Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Jasper, for your partnership and for this, insightful words. Dr. Alice Penning from the Netherlands Pavilion leads the Deltara Strategic Research Program on nature-based solutions in the Netherlands. She is here to tell us why the waterlogged Netherlands need adaptive solutions for arid environments. Alice, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. It's nice to be able to speak to you all. I was asked the question to explain you a bit more about why we in the Netherlands are so interested in the climate adaptation strategies that we're talking about today. And basically, this is something that also has to do with the recent climate change developments that we see in the Netherlands, and what Jasper was already mentioning before as well, which is the droughts that have been impacting us in the last 3 years. And you have to understand that in the Netherlands, there's different parts of the country. And this results also in different impacts of droughts in different areas of the Netherlands. So for example, what you see here is that the orange areas in the south and in the east of the country, they are sandy soils that are rain-fed. So if there's not enough rain, obviously this results in droughts. At the same time, this is, for example, what happened with the groundwater in the area in the summer of 2018. And you see that from April to July, there was a rapid increase in the drought index for groundwaters in this whole area. And then in the west of the country, close to the sea, we are suffering from salinization of our groundwaters. So with an increase in droughts, also the seawater enters our country much more quicker than it was before. Now we are looking into innovative research in order to combat both of these types of effects of droughts. And an interesting one is the CoStar project, which might also be interesting for people from around the world, and where we are not only thinking about the technological aspects, but also about the governance aspects that relate to tackling droughts. So for example, there is talk about water banks for farmers, where not only they are administering how much water they are using, but also how much benefits they can provide to other users. And at the same time, for example, also they're thinking about how can we reroute or use brackish groundwater in order to keep the brackish groundwater from interacting with the salt water, with the freshwater aspects of the groundwater, to limit agricultural damage. Now we do this with a whole lot of enterprises and communities and researchers in the whole of the Netherlands, because this type of work cannot be done alone. So if we're talking about climate change, if we want to make our ecosystems, and then I'm talking specifically about our natural ecosystems, more climate robust, we need structural measures. And these measures, they can be separated in 3 different categories. For example, can we redesign our water system? Now in the Netherlands, we have been very famous for creating a lot of drainage areas. But by restoring the wetland systems, that's more nature-based solutions, which is what I'm normally working with, reducing that drainage capacity, you also increase the capacity to retain the water. At the same time, we should think about how do we restrict groundwater abstractions in time and in space by different users. So that's more of a governance issue. And at the same time, we talk about how can we, with high technology, also increase our groundwater recharge. Now, this is very interesting, where we can learn also from you, I think, and how can we change, for example, land use? How can we change agricultural practices? What can we learn from your ways of how to deal with urban water systems? So we have to look for both innovative techniques for resilience to droughts, and both from the farm plot level, but also to the entire catchment management, because it is these 2 levels that interact with each other. And what happens at the farm level is different from what happens at the catchment, but they're interlinked. And for that, we also need the governance solutions that are part of that system. So if you link it to the DeserTech competition, I think especially for the Netherlands, the water scarcity and availability aspects are of key interest where we can cooperate in future projects. So thank you very much. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much, Alice. It was very interesting and insightful. So now, last but not least, I want to invite our last speaker for today that will tell us why the UK, with so many rainy days a year, and you know exactly the number, I don't, has joined the competition. Karen Shurkin is head of UK Science and Innovation Network in Israel and has been our partner right from the start. Over to you, Karen.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you very. Oh, I'm like shouting over there. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, DeserTech, Ministry of Environmental Protection, and Mirage. Thanks for having us. Hi to everyone online. Hi, kids. Go to bed. I also wanted to take the opportunity to thank the World Legacy for their support of the British track of this program. So as Sinai said, I'm Karen Shurkin. I'm from the British Embassy in Israel, and I'm here to tell you why notoriously rainy Britain is joining this DeserTech program. So I've boiled it down to three main reasons, but I'm going to lean on our Prime Minister for some support at the beginning. Can you help me with the video? So this is the Prime Minister Boris Johnson addressing the UN General Assembly just a couple of weeks ago. Oh, okay.
And when Kermit the Frog sang, "It's not easy being green." You remember that one? I want you to know that he was wrong. He was wrong. It is easy. It's not only easy, it's lucrative and it's right to be green. Although he was also unnecessarily rude to Miss Piggy, I thought, Kermit the Frog. But it is easy to be green. We have the technology, as we used to say when I was a kid. We can do it. We have so in 40 days' time, we have the choice before us.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so thank you, Prime Minister. As he says, we have the technology. It's lucrative and it's right. The UK has a lot to be proud of when it comes to climate leadership. Excuse me. Oh, okay, I'm getting all. Okay, let's see if I can get through this. Here we go. So we're the proud hosts of COP26, the upcoming UN Climate Change Conference taking place in Glasgow at the end of this month. We've set ambitious NDCs committing the UK to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by at least 68% by 2030. We've shown that climate action and economic growth can go hand in hand. In the last decade, we've achieved record clean growth, whilst our economy grew by 78%. We're the largest producer of offshore wind energy in the world and a leading member of Mission Innovation, working to make clean energy affordable and accessible to all this decade. At home, our Prime Minister has set a 10-point plan for a green revolution, a plan that puts practical steps towards achieving our goals. As we like to say in Israel, tachles. So mobilizing £12 billion of government investment and plans to create 250,000 UK jobs. Why is this interesting here? The plan backs innovation and drives major investment towards challenges that are specifically transferable to DeserTech, combating biodiversity loss, landscape adaptation. The plan puts forward grants for farmers to invest in tech to make their business more efficient, more profitable while reducing their emissions, and a £1 billion net zero innovation portfolio that supports green technologies. So back to Boris, but it is easy to be green. We have the technology. The UK prides itself on being a science superpower and the fourth agri startup nation in the world after the US, China, and India. Joining this program is about staying at the forefront of innovation and opening new markets for technology developed in the UK. One of the reasons the UK leads in agri-tech is its strength in the core areas of plant science, animal science, precision agriculture, and aquaculture. Having the opportunity to share knowledge and test innovations with new collaborators, new users in new environments offers us the opportunity to improve our technology, to allow them to grow and adapt and grow their market reach. The UK has specifically highlighted ambition of increasing collaboration with Israel and the UAE on green technologies. Finally, it's not only easy, it's right. Desertification is a global issue. Land degradation increases at pace. Issues like soil salinity, drought, flash floods, affect the UK too. International collaboration, as we've heard here most of the afternoon, is imperative, and it's valiant for an ecosystem like Israel's to offer itself as a springboard for these innovations. Israel's terrain provides a complex environment for research and vast experience in mastering the issues now encroaching on much of our planet while feeding a growing population. Our Foreign Secretary Liz Truss recently spoke of Global Britain in Action. She described this as, I'm going to read it so I don't get her words wrong, going out into the world to tackle the major challenges of our age alongside our friends and allies. So here we are. We may have lots of rain, but we do indeed believe that this is where we need to be. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Karen. And for bringing Kermit the Frog to this room was very nice. I want to really thank first of all, to all our speakers and panelists. I want to thank to the Ministry of Environmental Protection. I want to thank to all the partners of the competition. I want to thank the DeserTech team, Hillel Adler, Sivan Cohen-Shachari, Ziv Chova, Jonathan Menuchi, Nicole Rodstro. I want to thank the Israel Innovation Institute and the Mirage Foundation Israel for being the living heart of this community. And mostly, I want to thank you for joining us here today virtually, you for joining us today here physically at the Israeli Pavilion, and the community. You are actually the community. When we talk about innovation community, it's about the community. So we really hope that you will join the competition. We hope that you will explore the marketplace, and we really invite you to reach out to us. I am here, our team is here. If you're here physically, then we have some time to chat, and virtually our emails are sent over in the chat, and everything that you need to know in order to reach out to us directly. Thank you very, very much, and see you in the Negev next year.